Welcome to CSL TV. And I just hope you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is just a review, a reaction, and an informational channel. So, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully the informational part help you or somebody. And we just gonna watch some videos and talk about them. Other than that, I just hope you're having a beautiful, blessed day. Man, the world is just going through so much. I just hope that wherever you are, that you and your loved ones is experiencing nothing but peaceful, positive vibes, because there's so much negativity going on. I mean, a lot of people ain't been loved, so I don't want to make this intro too long. Hey, hit the sub button, like, comment, and let's get it.
This story out of Texas is crazy. It all went down in San Antonio when cops were dispatched over reports of a shooting at a car wash. They arrive in a nearby neighborhood to search for the suspect's car, a black Range Rover, and quickly track it down.
Back out on here on Mesquite, there's a black Range Rover. It's parked at the first house on the right.
As soon as the cop spots the Range Rover, he also spots the suspect.
What's up? Huh? I don't know, you're waving your fingers at me. Step it up, I got the suspect right now.
The cop tells the suspect not to grab anything.
You don't reach for anything, dude. Hey, don't reach for anything, bro. Don't reach for anything. Don't you do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And as the cop aims his weapon at the suspect, the guy reaches for a gun.
Don't. Let me see your hands. Hey.
That's when the suspect opens fire on the cops.
Hey.
Officers fall back as they note he's got an assault rifle.
He's got an AR! He's got an AR! He's got an AR! He's got a rifle! He's got a rifle! He's got a rifle!
As officers take defensive positions, the guy comes out of his house and posts up between two vehicles, and this police drone captures the suspect pacing back and forth, automatic weapon in hand. This is where the situation takes a notable shift. One officer is able to find a spot with visibility of the suspect, and from that position, he gets off a single shot. The guy goes down and is taken to the hospital. Fortunately, nobody else was injured in the incident. This all went down at the end of March, and it turns out the suspect fired nearly 30 rounds with his AR-15. The AR-15 is the most popular gun in the United States, and it's estimated that 1 in 20 Americans own one. The AR-15 was first designed as a military weapon, but since its patents expired in the 1970s, AR-15 style weapons are now made by several manufacturers and can cost just under $1,000, or about the price of an iPhone Pro. Many of our country's worst massacres and school shootings, like Sandy Hook in 2012 and the Las Vegas shooting in 2017, were carried out with AR-15 style weapons, but right-wing defenders of the Second Amendment refuse calls for bans on such weapons, despite overwhelming public support. It's not clear what happened to the 66-year-old man who the suspect first shot at the car wash, but the 34-year-old suspect ended up dying from his injuries. Police are still investigating everything that went down.
Man, that's crazy. It's a good thing nobody else got hurt. It's a good thing, because a motherfucking AR-15, them guns can go through some stuff because how they design and shape. Now, this guy evidently was just shooting. I mean, maybe he had a mental breakdown, mental episode, but it doesn't stop the fact that he could have hurt at least 20 people, because he shot at least 30 times. So he could have hurt at least 20 people if them bullets would have went towards, you know what I'm saying? So, oh man. And then this guy was in his 30s. So if they did the gun thing where you be 21, 25 to get a, you know what I'm saying, what are they going to do about these type of motherfuckers who is old as shit and doing this dumb shit? You know, what they going to do about that?
He looked at them and then he said, "She's in the cooler." They opened it and what they saw staring back at them was Aiko's head. It is the story of Shiraishi Takahiro, who was born and raised in the city of Zama. He was born on October 9th, 1990, and growing up with his parents and his younger sister, he was basically described as a pretty
If you lug around too much stuff,
quiet unremarkable child. He was, a pretty quiet guy, the kind of guy who would rather listen to you speak about yourself than speak about himself. But one thing that was just a little bit off was that Takahiro and his friends, for fun, they would often choke each other. In 2009...
So I'm a little confused now. Why in the world would y'all get the pleasure of choking each other? Think about if something was to go wrong. What y'all gonna say?
2009, when he graduated high school, he would go and work in a local supermarket for about 2 years. He did that full time before quitting, and he would have brief stints in a couple of other jobs. He would work in a food factory, in a pachinko parlor. He made the leap from kind of those jobs to becoming involved in sex trafficking. He went straight to the red light district of Tokyo. Kabukicho is the entertainment district in Shinjuku, Tokyo, nicknamed the Sleepless Town. It's home to bars, clubs, restaurants, and love hotels. It's also largely run by the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia. There's a lot of crime there, and not just violent crime, but drug dealing and sex trafficking. He ended up becoming what was called a scout for the gangs in the area, and what he did was lure women into becoming sex workers. He was arrested for scouting in February 2017. He would get a 3-year suspended sentence. So he stopped working in the Kabukicho, and he went back home to be with his dad. Around that time, he said to his dad, "I don't know why I'm alive." Then, in the August of that year, August 2017, he told his dad that he had met the love of his life and that he wanted to move into his own little apartment. And so he asked his dad to be guarantor of this apartment. His dad said, "Yep, sure thing, buddy, you got it." He moved in there on the 22nd of August, and it seems that then maybe being alone was not the best thing for him, because it seems his fascination with death and with morbidity and all that kind of stuff, well, Takahiro decided the self part, not so much, but the harm part, a big yes. Hi. And the method he used to explore this fascination he had was Twitter. In September 2017, a profile was created on Twitter. The username, Hanging Pro. The name, Hangman. And as you can see, the profile picture was an anime-style dude with cuts on his wrists, neck, and a noose. The bio read, "I want to help those who are having a hard time. DM me." Otherwise, on the platform, he would retweet cute pictures of cats and dogs, and he would also tweet other posts about self-harm and so on. In October 2017, Aiko Tamura disappeared. She herself was a Tokyo native, and at 23 years of age, she posted about on Twitter self-harm and that kind of thing. Just a couple of months previous, her mother had sadly passed away, and that was something which absolutely devastated her. It was Aiko's brother who began looking for her, and he could not find any single trace of her at all. He then went to her Twitter to see who she had been interacting with, and he saw that she had been DMing Hanging Pro. Aiko had contacted Hanging Pro back in September. She had contacted him about doing a suicide pact, that she didn't want to go alone. It was then a month later, on the 23rd of October, so a couple of days after she'd last been heard from, that CCTV would capture Aiko and Hanging Pro at a train station and then walking towards his apartment. So to try and track down exactly who this guy was, because Aiko's brother was putting the word out on Twitter, anybody who has met with Hanging Pro, who is this guy, essentially. So this unidentified woman, she contacted him and she says, I've met him in person. They just met up, went for a walk, and that was it. But this time she said, I can organize to meet up with him again, and this time I'll go to his place. So the police were then involved, and this became like a sting, kind of stakeout operation. It was Halloween 2017. The police were watching everything the entire time as this woman, she met up with Hanging Pro Takahiro at a train station, and the pair of them then walked together back to his apartment. And a couple of minutes, the police rocked up, knocked on his door. Takahiro, he opened the door, and the police said, here, listen, we're investigating the disappearance of Aiko Tamura. Do you have any information you can share with us? He looked at them, and then he looked back into his apartment, and then he said, she's in the cooler. The cooler was right there. The officers went into his apartment, down on the ground, they looked at it, they opened it, and what they saw staring back at them.
So, you mean to tell me you went from a full-time grocery person to finding love, want to go out, be a man, do your own thing, Pop was happy for you, did the thing, to now you done got part of some satanic, demonic, crazy nonsense Where y'all out here doing this stupid shit, you feel me? Like, and I'm happy he wasn't one of those guys that lied about it and then turned around, you know. They like, oh no, where they had to use force. He just went on to tell them like, shit, I just did what I did. Here go the icebox right here, you know what I'm saying? So let's hear how these people play it out, because I know that smell and just what they saw was very gross.
Was Aiko's head. On the floor of his apartment were 7 more boxes and coolers. And in there, they would find another 8 heads. Littered throughout were arms, legs, and hundreds of bones. Inside each were human remains. They also found saw, knives, ropes, all covered in the unmistakable dark brown of old blood. They also found multiple bank cards, medical cards, and other items belonging to the victims. Neighbors would say they smelt foul, rotting flesh coming from his apartment and the bins that he would use outside. Takehiro, he would dispose of the flesh and the organs, but he kept the bones. Takehiro Shiraishi was initially arrested and charged with abandoning bodies, but that would swiftly change. He didn't deny what he had done for a second. When he was confessing to the police, he said it had nothing to do with self-harm and that kind of stuff. He murdered these people for 2 reasons: for sex and for money. He did it because these people, they couldn't turn him down. And he also would steal all the money they had and whatever he could sell. Of the 9 victims found, 8 were women. 1 was a man. What he would do was invite all his victims over. He would then drug them with alcohol, sleeping pills, and tranquilizers. And then when they were unconscious, he would strangle them to death. And then to dispose of their remains, he would cut them up. Psychologists examined him for 5 months. They found he was fine. He knew every single thing he was doing. He was all there. And he was found guilty of all 9 murders. He was sentenced to death. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next old video, take care of each other and yourselves, because I love you for watching. Mike out.
Wow, that is crazy. I mean, my condolences goes out to these people. Just for the simple fact that, I mean, man, look at this. Look at this. I mean, look at this. Look at this. And then he started killing guys. He was the first guy. He shouldn't have been no guys. It shouldn't have been no females. And this motherfucker was out here doing this. Like, man, this ain't that long ago. You know what I'm saying? And this is what kills me. It's like, man, we starting to see some of these people doing repeated stuff. And I don't even understand why people want to do and see repeated stuff like this. Just for the simple fact, they know how it's going to play out. And it's demonic as fuck. Like, you are not the one who decide when somebody lasts, you know, on this earth is. So I hope people get it right. I hope so.